NFL Week 9 was rigged, fraudulent, Minnesota cheated, and I hate JJ McCarthy. This is just an unbiased review of NFL Week 9. Fine, we'll start with this game because I know you guys are going to want to talk about it. Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions, we've been rolling really hot. JJ McCarthy just came back, and when JJ McCarthy was playing pre-injury, he was very wishy-washy. I couldn't tell if he was playing good or not. I thought that there's no chance we lose this game to the Minnesota Vikings. And unfortunately, JJ McCarthy might just be my father. Oh, this is the worst game ever. Dude, I don't even want to watch these clips, but I'm just going to have to. See, here's the thing. Carson Wentz was never going to do that. That's certainly true. Old, washed Carson Wentz was not going to pull this off. I just can't believe how well he played. It genuinely pissed me off. This also pissed me off. That was... God, the stupidest, ugliest greedy ever, bro. Stop it. I don't want to spend too much time on this slide because it makes me so sad, even just looking at it. But the Vikings beat my Lions 27-24. If I'm being honest, it was even worse than this. We had a poverty Jameson Williams touchdown kind of at the end there. We just straight up lost this game to a team that I don't believe we should be losing this game to. The Lions always do this. I will say, though, and not even just my Lions, the entire NFL is wide open right now. Every single team, at least every single good team, has more or less the same record right now. The one team that I thought was kind of immutable, untouchable, was the Indianapolis Colts. And Daniel Jones looked super bad. I've been glazing Daniel Jones game in, game out. And the Pittsburgh Steelers defense made Daniel Jones look like the old Daniel Jones, the one that all Giants fans know and love. 31 for 50. He had 3 interceptions. And frankly, that super efficient, unbelievably, shockingly efficient Daniel Jones, that went out the window. And then Jonathan Taylor. Dude, I've been talking so much about Jonathan Taylor being Offensive Player of the Year. It's so hard as a running back already to win this award. And now he has one big dud game. And Puka Nacua came back, although he got re-injured, but Puka Nacua, while he was out there, looked really good again. I still think the race between Jonathan Taylor and Puka Nacua is super alive. We got to see how Puka's chest injury is. We'll see if he comes right back after that or not. But let's also give credit to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Pittsburgh Steelers defense was really, really solid. Despite Jaylen Warren sucking ass and getting 1.9 yards per carry, he did have 2 touchdowns, and my fantasy team is very grateful for that. So 20-27, the untouchable team that I believed was untouchable, the Indianapolis Colts, now has a big loss on there. They're still 7-2, so they got nothing to worry about. But, dude, there are so many legitimate contenders in the National Football League right now. So many legitimate contenders. San Fran takes down the New York Giants. Mac Jones. The resurgence of Mac Jones. It's kind of slowly getting swept under the rug, but the Niners are 6-3. Mac Jones is playing really well. Jackson Dart put up another good performance, though. 2 touchdowns through the air and 1 on the ground. Jackson Dart is making a very serious run at Offensive Rookie of the Year, despite the Giants being 2-7. I mean, Malik Neighbors, Cam Skadaboo, it already sucked ass for the Giants. They just keep getting so unlucky. I think the Giants are the unluckiest team in the NFL right now. I think the only next contender for that's Arizona Cardinals. This is probably the sickest shit ever. Ball don't lie. Ball don't lie for Cam Little. Not only does Cam Little break Justin Tucker's NFL record. Justin Tucker's record was a 66-yard field goal. Cam Little bombs a 68-yarder in an actual NFL regular season game after hitting a 70 in the preseason. Number one, this kid's a freak. Absolute freak. And I'm actually going to watch this in short form version. 68-yarder. It was a hurricane field goal, too. They had to run out there and just get this thing off at the end of the half. Looking like a really uneventful game. And he fucking buried it. Dude, this might have had another 2 yards on it. This probably could have gone from 70. Genuinely unbelievable field goal for the NFL record. And he buried it. Ball don't lie. Cam Little. Listen, Brandon Aubrey. There are 2 GOAT kickers in the league right now. Brandon Aubrey and Cam Little. I still think Brandon Aubrey is the best kicker in the league, but Cam Little absolutely has the most pure deep ball. Although even that's hard to say. Maybe Cam Little just has the strongest leg. I don't know, but it's kind of cool to have 2 GOAT kickers in the league right now. I mean, Harrison Butker has been pretty amazing for years. And then this is still so crazy to me. Dude, Justin Tucker is still a free agent. Justin Tucker's free agency, suspension, expires next week. So it's NFL Week 9, right? He was suspended for the first 10 weeks of the 2025 NFL season for violating the league's personal conduct policy. He can sign with a team and serve a suspension while being a free agent and is eligible for reinstatement on November 11th, 2025. That is literally 8 days from now. I cannot believe this. I genuinely can't believe this. So, does a team pick him up? There's your question of the day. Does a team pick up Justin Tucker, probably undisputed the greatest kicker of all time? Statistically, he is. The last year that he fully played, he really wasn't that good. But every year previous to that, he was pretty clear. He's probably the best kicker of all time. He might have a contention with Adam Vinatieri, I guess. But he's absolutely top 3 if you really want to get nitpicky. And no one's going to pick. I don't know if anyone's going to pick him up. I don't know if they're willing to deal with that. I mean, shit. Deshaun Watson is still technically on a team, so if Deshaun Watson can be on a team, Justin Tucker certainly can. I also want to make it really clear, I know we're dogpiling on Justin Tucker and a lot of shit happened with him. It is all still alleged, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know exactly what happened, because I don't. But the league certainly believed that what Justin Tucker did was worthy of a 10-week suspension. So in my eyes, that means something happened. Let's keep going though. Holy shit. Cincinnati. I'm legitimately pissed off at Cincinnati for this. This is a banger game. And anybody who doesn't care about either of these teams, 47-42, Bears-Bengals, is absolutely crazy. Ben Johnson has the Bears 5-3 now. They just hung 47 points on the Cincinnati Bengals. And Ben Johnson called an amazing game. This was a really exciting game to watch. What's insane to me is dropping 47 points when your number 1 wide receiver goes 0 receptions for 0 yards. What's even worse is I started that fraud. I think I'm still going to catch a W in fantasy. Here's my fantasy lineup. How does your team score 47 points and your number 1 wide receiver has 0 receptions, 0 yards? Okay, I'm letting my personal bias take away from how amazing this game was. 47-42. Joe Flacco has no fucking business, pardon my French, throwing 470 yards at the age of 41 and losing a football game. What on earth is going on in Cincinnati? Actually, this genuinely makes me mad, and I'm not even a Cincinnati fan. How can your defense be so bad that 42 points out of Joe fucking Flacco is not enough to win you a game? You know what it is to me? Cincinnati certainly doesn't have the most talent on defense, but I don't even think they're the least talented roster-wise defense in the league. I think their defensive coordinator is dog shit. They are calling horrible defensive schemes. It's like every single NFL team is just foaming at the mouth to play against Cincinnati so that they can drop nuclear stat lines. Caleb Williams, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. On top of that, he rushed for 53. On top of that, he caught 2 passes for 22 yards and a touchdown. I believe that Justin Tucker was the number 1 fantasy scorer this week. Okay, I take it back. If you play in a PPR league, the number 1 score was Brock Bowers. We'll get to the amazing effort Brock Bowers had just to lose in overtime to the Jaguars and Cam Little. 3 touchdowns, 13 targets, 12 receptions, and 43.3 fantasy points. Brock Bowers is so back. I know if you guys had him on your team, you were just waiting and waiting for him to come back because that injury sucked. He's so fucking back. That's go to Drake London, the Falcons game. We'll get to this too, but Drake London, the next highest scorer with 39, tied with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams! I'm so glad. Okay, so this year I've been kind of glazing Tua and Caleb Williams, and my Caleb Williams glaze has looked great because I think Caleb Williams is still amazing. My Tua glaze has probably been one of the stupidest things I've publicly said in my entire life. Christian McCaffrey, a big 34 piece. He's so back after a really ugly week last week. T. Higgins was incredible. I mean, frankly, everyone Cincinnati Bengals related was incredible because Joe Flacco was out there doing God's work for no business. Doing God's work for the worst defense I've ever. Genuinely pissed me off. 470 yards. He holds the record now, by the way. This is an NFL record, most passing yards by someone age 40 plus. I mean, you're not really in contention with a lot of people, but Like, so what if Joe Burrow's playing? What if even if Joe Burrow gives you 510 yards and 5 touchdowns, does it really change anything? This is just like no defense to be found anywhere. And also, like, I'm dogpiling here hard on Cincinnati. Like, you could say the same thing for Chicago Bears defense. Why is Joe Flacco tearing you up like this? The only thing is Joe Flacco kind of has been tearing it up. He's actually been really solid, and Bengals offense pretty amazing. You've got the best wide receiver duo in the National Football League. No question. T. Higgins, 7 for 121. Jamar Chase, 6 for 100. This is crazy, bro. Even Chase Brown, if you're in a PPR league, was a freaking monster in this game. I think the only thing I haven't talked about that I definitely need to, Kyle Monangai. This is not a guy that we really expected a lot of, at least not for myself. Here's an article. Biggest steal in the 2025 draft. The Bears didn't add a running back through the first 6 rounds. They got Kyle Monangai, which I guess must have been in the 7th round. I don't know when he was drafted, but I do know that he just put up 176 yards rushing on 7 yards per carry. On top of that, he tacked on 3 receptions and 22 yards. So almost 200 all-purpose yards. I think it's crazy what Kyle Monangai and Rico Dowdle have done this season. Rico Dowdle put up another like 150-plus yard performance. If you're ever wondering why the running backs don't get paid very much, this is why. Because the Chicago Bears can go ahead and pick up this guy in the 7th round, and he'll give you a 180 piece. Granted, it's against the Cincinnati Bengals, but it is what it is. Atlanta Falcons, New England Patriots. This was probably a frustrating one for Falcons fans because Falcons fans it's been a tough year for Falcons fans, and it's been a tough year for Michael Penix, but guess what? Michael Penix finally has this relatively efficient game, playing super, super well. Drake London has a 3-touchdown game hat trick out of Drake London, and you still lose this game by a point. A missed PAT. What is with missed PATs? I know PATs aren't a gimme anymore, but a missed PAT is crazy work, and that's brutal for the Atlanta Falcons. I actually don't know who this is. I usually am like pretty up on my ball knowledge for kickers, but Atlanta Falcons had Younghoe Koo. They cut him. Parker Romo here, 14 field goals attempted, 11 made, and he missed a crucial PAT. I don't know if that's enough to get him canned, but it's a brutal way to go out. I can say that much. Once again, though, the entire NFL is up for grabs. I don't know what on earth, dude. I'm getting absolutely ass blasted by ads right now. This shit's pissing me off. Drake May. Another W. Guess who finally got good carries? Travion Henderson. Yes, it might be Travion Henderson's season. If you're delusional fraud like me and he's on your fantasy team, it might be Travion Henderson's season. Demario Douglas had a really big game, 100 yards and a touchdown. Diggs has been so much better than I expected. I thought he was washed, bro. I'm not going to lie. I thought Stephon Diggs was washed, and I don't know shit. He's looked really, really good the last 2 weeks, even the last 3 weeks, and the Patriots, it's a narrow W, but if there's one thing the Falcons know how to do, it's how to lose a game to the New England Patriots. That's brutal. This would have been a great win for Atlanta, but the Patriots are 7-2. Now, yes, my Detroit Lions lost, but I obviously still believe that we're a very strong contender. I don't know if Minnesota's a very strong contender. I'm not willing to say that yet. This was crazy. You know who has, consistently made every single game scary? The Green Bay Packers. Why are the Green Bay Packers, that they're 5-2-1 is honestly impressive. They had an incredibly close game with Dallas. They damn near lost to the Arizona Cardinals. They just lost here to the 5-4 Carolina Panthers. Hello? Is this real life? Now, I will say, losing this game when Bryce Young throws 100 yards and an interception is kind of incredible. For the Green Bay Packers roster, that's supposed to be one of the most stacked in the league. But honestly, why is Rico Dowdle so good? I think that's my biggest takeaway. Why is Rico Dowdle so good? Ironically, Rico Dowdle was Dallas Cowboy. It's like the resurgence of Cowboys running backs. Like Javonte Williams was looking washed. He's on Dallas going nuts. Rico Dowdle was the backup for Dallas. And now he's over here pretty much starting with the Carolina Panthers. If anybody is kind of scared right now, Chuba Hubbard was supposed to be the starter. Chuba Hubbard was the starter. He gets injured. Dowdle comes in. Dowdle's so good you can't bench him. As expected, Rico Dowdle took over as the number 1 back for Carolina rather than working in a timeshare with Hubbard as he turned 25 carries into 130 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Rico Dowdle is just so good. It's very impressive what Carolina does. When Carolina gets a good running back, or maybe it's the other way around, Carolina just needs a running back to make them look super, super good. If you can kind of figure out the passing game and you can really build a legitimate non-ass passing game in Carolina, I think this team can get back to where they were with Cam Newton. But they're a ways away from that. I don't think Carolina is a super legitimate contender. I don't think they're close to that. But a big loss for Green Bay. Denver Broncos, Houston Texans, another ugly game, but another 7-2 potential serious contender, Denver Broncos. I can't even tell who's good in the league anymore. I legitimately can't. CJ Stroud goes out with an injury. Davis Mills comes in. Neither of them really did too much. I think the season's kind of over for the Houston Texans. What's the status on CJ Stroud? Oh, Deadspin, Texans quarterback CJ Stroud, concussion. So it's just a concussion. I'm sure he'll be back, but I don't see the Houston Texans realistically turning this season around. I've seen a lot of people, I tweeted out that hot takes thing. A lot of people were like, the Texans are going to turn it around this season. I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all. I think if anybody's outperforming how good they actually are, I think I'm going to say it's the Denver Broncos. I don't think the Denver Broncos are worthy of a 7-2 record. I know that sounds really stupid. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but there's so many high-caliber record teams right now. For example, Denver Broncos are 7-2, and my Detroit Lions are 5-3, and I would absolutely take my Lions in a game over the Broncos every day of the week. Although, maybe I am a delusional fraud, because I would take my Detroit Lions over the Minnesota Vikings and McCarthy's fraud ass any day of the week. We still lost his fucking game. I'm pissed. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, this was such a big game because this is the MVP race. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes was the MVP race. Josh Allen was pretty far behind Patrick Mahomes going into this game. So far this season, Josh Allen, 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes, statistically, right in that same ballpark, but a lot more, passing yards for Patrick Mahomes. But as we know, one of the most important factors of the MVP award is your team's record, which is kind of a weird thing to think about. You think it'd be solely a statistical award, but it's totally not. We've seen this year in and year out, that not only do you have to be the best statistical quarterback in the league by and large, you also need to have the best record in the league. So you need the combination of the two, and that's why it was neck and neck for these guys. Mahomes struggled big time in this game. Bills looked really, really good. Here's the thing. The Kansas City Chiefs are still the Kansas City Chiefs. Once again, like being 5-4 for the Kansas City Chiefs, this means nothing to me. This team is still so good. But for the MVP race, I think Josh Allen is probably in the lead right now. Let's go fact check myself. Would you look at that? Josh Allen is now plus 180 and Patrick Mahomes is plus 350. This is an exact swap of what it was last week. Last week, it was Mahomes plus 180 and Josh Allen. Drake May inching closer and closer, and that's the thing about this award. It's not so much about your literal stats. It's a lot more about the record of your team. Drake May didn't have a particularly good game, but Drake May's New England Patriots are 7-2. Matthew Stafford and the Rams get another win, and he's looked amazing. Nobody used to be in the league of the first and second guys, but now it is a legitimate tight race between Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Drake May, and Matthew Stafford. Out of these four, I would love for it to be Drake May. I think that would be hilarious. Baker Mayfield has kind of fallen out of favor here. Sam Darnold's creeping up, and if Lamar did it after missing all those games, he would be a freak of nature, although I guess it's still technically possible. But good game here between the Bills and the Chiefs. The Chiefs kind of tried to make it close there at the end, and they were going for some Hail Marys, but it was a little too late. Josh Allen and the Bills played super. I mean, here it's kind of easy to see when you just look at completion. 23 for 26 is so incredible. If you have a good offense and a good quarterback, you're throwing this completion percentage, it's hard to lose. It's very hard to lose, especially when James Cook goes for over 100. Dalton Kincaid, who I started in fantasy, was the number one guy for them, so I love to see that. Super inconsistent. Dalton Kincaid will go from having 100 yards and a touchdown to 0 targets, so I'm kind of scared to start him next week, but it should be a fun one. I do want to talk more about my matchup. So I am losing by 6 points right now, and I have Brandon Aubrey versus the Arizona Cardinals tonight. So I need Brandon Aubrey to give me 7 points. This is crazy close. I started so many good players. Dalton Kincaid, Puka Nacua, Jalen Warren, Josh Allen, but he started a lot of good players too. Monangai, he picked up off of waivers and then instantly started him, got 23. So that was a great play by him. I need 7 out of Brandon Aubrey. I cannot believe Odunze gave me 0. This in a game where the Bears have 47 points and Odunze averages 15 fantasy points a game. For him to get 0 is incredible, although he had some bad drops. He ain't looked like shit that game. I'm not even gonna lie. He was like one of the few like really ugly spots. And there's no one that I legitimately would have started over him. I mean, in hindsight's 2020, I guess Travion Henderson, but he has been completely inconsistent. I think I made the right call, so we just gotta see what happens. So hey, Brandon Aubrey hit some field goals tonight. As you're watching this, you can say, congratulations, MMG. What a week in fantasy. Let's hope you get the W. That's my hope. Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders. What a shit year for the Raiders. The Jaguars are 5-3. The league is completely wide open. These next 9 weeks of football, whatever the exact amount of weeks is, it's going to be so awesome. So awesome. Etienne looked solid. Frankly, dude, this Jaguars team has no business doing this. They're banged up. Jaguars are very, very injured right now. I know the Raiders aren't great, but the Raiders played better than they probably have all year, and they still lost. At the end of this game, in overtime, the Raiders elected to go for 2. I think that was the right call. They're the worst team. They're really struggling. You got to go for the kill shot because Jacksonville is just going to score again, in my opinion. So they made the right call. Geno played great, and they still fucking lost. It's just really, really tough for this team. The only thing you can be excited about is Brock Bowers is stupid young. He's like 22 years old. Ashton Genty's in the same boat. And then Geno Smith is obviously not your franchise quarterback. He's just there to play quarterback until you guys figure it out. So if the Raiders can slot in a really good quarterback in free agency or draft someone who's developable, you have probably some of the best young talent in the National Football League. Ashton Genty, despite struggling because of how shit this team is clearly one of the top young talents in the league, and Brock Bowers is actually a freak. So, I mean, you can look to the future. I'm trying to ease the wound here if you're a Raiders fan. But Jacksonville's 5-3, baby. Jacksonville's 5-3. Saints-Rams, I mean, Puka Nacua didn't even play this full game, and this team is just still stupid good. I think this might be the least talked about team in the league that is 6-2, that is this good. I don't know why, actually. This was a god-tier game out of Matthew Stafford. This offense is crazy good. They realistically could be the only one-loss team if that field goal against the Philadelphia Eagles goes any differently. I understand the Saints are ass, so I'm not going to pretend like this is the craziest win of all time. But this is a complete team. They have a very, very solid defense. They've got an incredible offense. Puka Nacua, I do want to see more about this injury, though, because I'm worried about it. Rams, Puka Nacua gets injury update after exiting Week 9 versus Saints. So he had like a chest injury. They said Puka's good. I think he's going to be good. Rams head coach Sean McVay said, well, that's not exactly reassuring. He's scheduled to have a scan for the rib injury, and Sean McVay feels optimistic in regard to where we're potentially heading. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they sat him another few weeks, even if it's not serious, because this team is absolutely going to the playoffs, and they're going to want a fully healthy Puka Nacua. So I would probably err on the side of caution with them. Devontae Adams has been great in this offense. Saints fans, get ready to rebuild. Get ready to rebuild, frauds. You guys are ass, straight up. Tyler Shuck came in and played, though, you guys. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. What do we say about the New Orleans Saints? I really don't have, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a hater, but I just don't have much to say about the New Orleans Saints. Chargers, Titans. In a game where the Titans' special teams and defense played really, really well, they still lost. Cam Ward has been utterly disappointing. I understand how untalented this roster is. I understand how hard it is to be a first-year quarterback. He has been shockingly bad, even with all of those. This was another game. Dude, he literally goes to throw a pass, and it just, comes out of his hand wrong. I have never seen a quarterback do this so often. I've never seen a quarterback legitimately have low ball security like a running back. It's so weird. He's not getting strip sacked. No one's hitting him. He's just losing the football. It's so weird. I don't know what's going on over there. And the Baltimore Ravens versus the Miami Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. You know what's kind of crazy about this game? Legitimately kind of crazy? Miami very seriously could have won this game. That first half for Miami, they made so many stupid mistakes. They messed up so much stupid shit because they're Miami and they're really, really struggling. But dude, they actually could have won this game. I think this sums up this game super, super well. NFL, please don't copyright me. I'm sure you're going to. On 4th and 2, you're down 14-6. You've gotten into the red zone twice, and you've only taken field goals. It's 14-6. On 4th and 2, you're not going to make this 9-14. You say, fuck it, let's go to the end zone. So they go for a pass. They have 2 timeouts remaining, 1:07. Look at this fucking pass, bro. This is the most inexcusable shit I've seen in the National Football League. Straight up so fucking inexcusable. You just threw a jump ball to Devon Achane with Kyle Hamilton in coverage. There could not be a worse mismatch humanly possible on this field. Kyle Hamilton, 6'4". Devon Achane, 5'9". You just threw a jump ball with a minus 9-inch disadvantage on 4th and 2. This isn't even a catchable pass. Multiple times in this game, it felt like Tua just straight up did not give a fuck. I couldn't believe it, guys. I don't care who wins in this game. I don't care about Miami. I don't care about Baltimore. It was such a shit watch. How is that? I mean, maybe even pump fake scramble? Maybe give anybody a shot? Maybe even give Devon Achane a shot? I mean, this would be considerable if he gave Achane a chance. This ball's not catchable by anybody. It's not catchable by anybody. There's no chance to convert this. Everybody and their mother knew that this is a horrible play call. And then the Hail Mary at the end of this half, there's a Hail Mary. It might have been, at the end of this half, there's a Hail Mary for Miami. And Tua doesn't throw it. Tua just like, no, nobody's really down there. That's probably not going to work anyway. And he just downs himself. How do you not throw a Hail Mary in that scenario? You have nothing to lose. It's like he didn't care. I can't make that call. I have no idea what's going through Tua's head. But watching that game was frustrating as a fan of the sport. There are 2 active win streaks in the NFL right now. This was going into week 9. Colts lost this. But Denver on a 6-game win streak. New England Patriots on a 6-game win streak. Denver plays Kansas City next. I'm not sure who New England plays next. So I would be very shocked if Denver is able to maintain that. So many injuries this week, too. Also, this was interesting. Eagles trading for Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander has not been as good as I expected, so I don't know that this is as crazy of a trade as I'm expecting, but it's always the Eagles doing some crazy shit like this, so we'll see. The trade deadline has not come up, so there still can be trades coming up throughout this season, but I want to talk about the injuries. A game we didn't get to talk about yet was the Washington Commanders game. Not only did the Commanders look really, really flat, even with Jaden Daniels, I think 2 things occurred really in that game. Luke McCaffrey's likely out for the rest of the season. Marshon Lattimore is feared to have torn his ACL. Seattle solidifies themselves as a very, very serious contender, and Washington kind of got exposed. This is like, a lot of people can say with Washington, it's like, oh, well, they didn't have Jaden Daniels. They didn't have Jaden Daniels. They had Jaden Daniels. Now, Jaden Daniels did get re-injured. It looks like he might be out for a few more weeks. The season may be over for the Washington Commanders. This was a particularly bad game and a particularly good game for Seattle. It's really impressive how good Seattle is this season. Seattle is absolutely a top 5 contender for me still. I think Indianapolis Colts really took a knock after that game. They looked ugly as shit. Just to see them get exposed like that was kind of brutal. But Seattle looks amazing. Yeah, Michael Williams torn ACL. Tucker Kraft torn ACL. Dude, it was like the ACL week. It's so sad. So sad. Eagles also are trading for Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips was one of the few bright spots on the Miami Dolphins team, but this Miami Dolphins team is so ass that I would kind of be trying to establish capital. I get why Miami's doing. This is basically a rebuild. Dolphins trade Jalen Phillips for a 2026 third-round draft pick. I love to see the plays that Ben Johnson was cooking up. So they put Cole Kmet in motion. They put him under center. He snaps the football, little flea flicker pitch to Caleb Williams, who throws it back to Cole Kmet, who throws it down to I'm washed and ass at football, and I can't even get Matt Maher one single fucking fantasy point, Rome Odunze, who dropped this pass. Honestly, such a sick play call. I don't know how you dropped that. That was beautiful. A bunch of people were saying shit like all that for 13 yards. Can we not have anything nice on the internet, you guys? Like, seriously, you realize how good 13 yards is in the National Football League? If I could do a rain dance to ensure that my team got 13 yards, I would do it. I would hump the ground for 6 straight hours if I could guarantee the Detroit Lions 13 yards per play. All that for 13 yards? All it was a little bit of trickery. What kind of level of hate is this? All that for 13 yards? Oh my God, I would do a hell of a lot more than that for 13. I'd suck a dick for 13 yards. I'd probably do that for free, actually. Let's watch some of the fun highlights. Carolina Panthers winning this game against the Green Bay Packers. Absolutely massive underdogs. You know Bryce Young has got to be in such a good headspace right now. Like, Bryce Young got absolutely eviscerated the entirety of last year and the year before that. This dude has had almost exclusively nothing but negative media attention. And they just they have a winning record and just beat the Green Bay Packers, which many people believe is like the best team in the league. I don't know that I believe that, but it is what it is. Drake London with the hat trick is absolutely disgusting. He is virtually covered very well on every single one of these passes. Drake London is disgustingly good. Bijan Robinson didn't do much, but This was a brutal loss for Atlanta. I said that before. This is a brutal fucking loss for Atlanta. I think it's very easy to forget how good T. Higgins was in this game because Cincinnati dropped 42 points and lost. It is hilarious how right everyone was about this team. It's like the joke coming into the season was like the Bengals are going to have to score 50 every game to win. It's literally true. They would have needed 50 points to win this game.
Higgins with the catch. Higgins, they're going to mark him.
Unbelievable. I think more than anything, I don't know that any teams in the future are going to replicate what Cincinnati has done here. Cincinnati paid an obscene amount of money between 2 wide receivers and a quarterback. And frankly, I get it because how do you let Jamar Chase walk? How do you let T. Higgins walk? How do you let Joe Burrow walk? You can't, but it's not a working formula.
The end zone. Flacco looking end zone.
It worked when Cincinnati went to the Super Bowl, but Cincinnati didn't have to pay all 3 of these guys $300 million. I don't know that we're going to see another team. I think based on what has occurred in Cincinnati, I don't know that we're going to see another team make that mistake. Hindsight's 2020, right? Like if Joe Burrow was healthy and they were doing amazing, then whatever, but they're 3-6, so I can be a hater. I don't even want to watch this.
Quick throw.
I don't want to watch these shenanigans. Even a broken clock strikes right twice a day. Even a gay clock is homosexual twice a day. That's all I got to say about it. Even a straight clock, even a heterosexual straight clock with a loving wife and kids is gay twice a day. That's what happened in this Minnesota game. The NFL dropped a top plays from our guys in October. This is from NFL Africa. It's actually kind of lit. They go Emeka Egbuka is the first one. Okay. Kene Nwangwu. Now that's NFL Africa. Ooh, a Jets highlight? A Jets highlight on our African top plays? Where's Cooper Kupp? Number 1 African. Where's Drake May? Number 2 African. David Njoku. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Yeah, this could legitimately be all Jackson Smith and Jigba plays. Joseph Asai. Yeah, where is Drake May? Where is Riley Moss? Great question. Look at Jacoby Brissett, though. Tell me why Jacoby Brissett's moving like that. That's more of a Jacoby Brissett highlight than anything. Odafe Owe, now a Charger. He's so good. That was big for the Chargers, getting him. All right, to close this video off, I feel obligated to make some bold predictions because the NFL is so disparaged right now. There's so much shit going on, so many good record teams, so many contenders that I want to make my predictions right now as we're halfway through the season. Okay, 6-2 Philadelphia Eagles are still a top 3 team. I don't see how they're not. They just got Jair Alexander and Jalen Phillips, which is kind of disgusting. Even if they hadn't done that, I would say Philadelphia is a top 3 team. The problem with Philadelphia is if you stop the run game and Jalen Hurts has a dud game, they are legitimately useless. But Jalen Hurts has already proven this season that he doesn't always have those dud games, and he actually is a super legitimately good quarterback. He has proven it. So I'm still putting Philadelphia in the top 3. Green Bay Packers. I do not put them in my top 3. I can't put my Lions in my top 3 either, especially not after losing to Minnesota. But I think the Packers, all of their wins have been far too close. I do not think that they have, I can't give it to Green Bay yet either. I think my top 3 teams, I'm going to say Philadelphia Eagles, Seattle Seahawks, and then it's either the Buffalo Bills or the New England Patriots. Shit, the league is so good right now. God, it's going to be such a beautiful viewing experience. I do think, if I have to say who's going to the Super Bowl right now, I'm saying it's Lions and the Bills. But that's because I'm a delusional fucking idiot. I actually think realistically if the Lions ran into the Eagles when they're playing well, or the Seahawks when they're playing well, or even the Rams right now, we'd probably lose that game. Damn, this league is so good. Rams, dominant team. Seahawks, dominant team. Lions, best team in the league. I'm not delusional, I swear to God. Philadelphia Eagles, very dominant team. Bills, dominant team. Patriots, dominant team. Colts are scaring me after the loss this week. Broncos, I think, are overrated. Shit. I haven't even considered the Chiefs. Ooh, it's going to get spicy. All right, gentlemen, my closing notes on NFL Week 9. After reviewing the footage and being unbiased, Minnesota is fraudulent. They cheated, and the Detroit Lions are going to the Super Bowl. I love you. You're so handsome. I hope you have a spectacular day. Peace.